Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Leonard Williams. The Giants are expected to franchise tag him in the coming hours. The deadline is Tuesday, March 9th, but there were talks amid the cap not being established yet that they could push it back a couple of days. Clearly, the Giants are trying to get that over with, and mainly because they want to sign him long term. We've known the Giants want to retain him for quite some time, and now this gives him a bit more leeway, a bit more time to get a long-term extension done without any other people entering the fold. Of course, we have March 17th as the start of free agency at 4 p.m., and I believe they don't want to go into free agency with a $19.8 million cap hit that would be accrued if he does end up staying. It's actually $19.3 million. It's a 120% increase from his franchise tag cost last year at $16.1 million. But it's not a bad day to be Leonard Williams. I mean, worst case scenario, he walks away, $35 million guaranteed over 2 seasons and hits the market at 27 years old next year. But the thing is, Giants aren't going to let him hit free agency with a $19.3 million cap hit. That would completely just destroy any hopes of signing a wide receiver, a pass rusher, retaining even Dalvin Tomlinson. They're going to work out a long-term deal, according to Dan Duggan of The Athletic. The sides, both of them, aren't particularly close to a new deal, but as we know, things can really happen quickly. Negotiations can occur, and they can really grow in speed and efficiency. And I think they'll probably figure something out within the next week. I think his value is pretty established. As his 11.5 sacks and 62 pressures attest to. Some people might argue that, it's a one-hit wonder, it's an anomaly. He did this one season, why are we paying him $18+ million per year? And I get that. I think that's a really good argument because the reality is he never hit double-digit sacks before this past year. He wasn't able to convert that. But I think that's the coaching difference, the differential between having a great coach and maybe mediocre coaches and players around him. With the Jets in the past, I don't think he was in a good spot. I think with the Giants now, Patrick Graham really knows how to utilize him, really knows how to utilize those big guys next to him to, get those double teams, get Leonard Williams into 1v1 situations so he can dominate in his own right. Leonard Williams is a phenomenal player. He's never missed a game due to injury. He's always there. They say the best ability is availability. He's always available. So that's a huge plus for him. His production last year really showed that he's entering the prime, if not in the prime of his career. So this is the time, to sign a guy like that. Premier pass rushers in the NFL don't come along very often. It's very hard to find them and then actually extend them and keep them around for the long term. So I think the Giants would be smart to extend him, whether it's going to be a little over, I wouldn't overpay him at $22 million per season, but I would do $18 to $20 million because otherwise, how do you replace a guy like that? How do you replace a guy that commands so much attention on defense, is picking up sacks now, he's getting pressures, he's being ranked up there with the big guys and Chris Jones and whatnot. Those type of players don't come around very often. Leonard Williams, hasn't been the most consistent over the course of his career, but he's always been healthy, and he had his best season last year in a new scheme with the Giants, and they're very confident he's going to be able to compound on that and get even better and better. But as for the Giants, this is going to be interesting to see how they maneuver this because they really are going to have to find a way to lower that cap hit exponentially for the simple reason that if they keep him at $19.3 million, if they keep him at even $16 million, they're going to have no money. Right now they have about $6 million, maybe a bit more after they released Cody Core yesterday. Maybe they're at about $8 million, let's say. They still need to clear a ton of cap just to keep Leonard Williams. If they were to give him, let's say, $13 million cap hit in the first year, they still need to create $5 million in money to actually fit him to begin with. I expect them to restructure some contracts. James Bradbury is the top cap hit for the Giants, so I really think that they're going to have to restructure his contract. He's projected to make $17 million this upcoming season in terms of the cap hit. They have to bring that down, whether it's extending him, restructuring his contract, give him more of a signing bonus to spread that cap hit a little bit down the road. They have a lot of cap space next year, which is exactly why the Giants should be, trying to look to extend some of these guys or at least restructure guys like Blake Martinez, James Bradbury, maybe even Graham Gano to create a couple more $1 million, even $500K. It all adds up. This is a situation where the Giants need as much money as they can possibly get. We know they restructured Levine Toilolo. We don't know what the numbers look like yet, but it's probably around a veteran minimum deal. If it's not, I don't know why they would keep him around. I know it's a zero dead cap hit situation, so they could just carry his contract into training camp and then cut him after with no repercussions. So that's something they could consider, just to have some camp bodies. He's a veteran. He's been on a Super Bowl team before. I think that's kind of the reason that they're looking at him and saying, let's just keep him around, see what he has left. And if he's of value to us, we'll keep him on a cheaper deal. But if not, we'll just cut him with zero dead cap implications. So I get that. Not the worst decision. As for Leonard Williams, though, what do you guys think? Do you think that they should be extending him on a long-term deal? I've heard some people recommend the idea of tagging and then trading him. What is his value? I mean, the value is, someone's going to be consuming that $19.3 million cap hit. Right now, there's no team that's going to do that. There's no team that is looking to consume a big cap hit like that. And especially to give up draft capital for it. I don't think there's any value in that. I think the only value there really is if they were to sign him to a long-term deal and then trade him, but that's pretty shady business. I don't know if the Giants should do that, just because Leonard Williams has been just a great person to have in the locker room, been great for the young guys. He's been great in his own right, just producing last season and really becoming a premier interior pass rusher. And he's also a very good run stopper, so that's another factor to play into it. But I think the Giants made the good decision here in franchise tagging him. It's not going to last. They're going to long-term extend him. They can't carry $19.3 million into the cap this upcoming offseason, really, with free agency starting in a couple weeks, or really a couple days. So I think this is a good way for the Giants to prolong their long-term extension. Just give them a couple more days to figure out what it's going to look like, what the money's going to look like, the duration's going to look like. There's a lot of stuff left to be ironed out. These are not easy contracts to figure. These are very, very difficult, especially when COVID cap is having such an influence. They need to see, who they're gonna cut and whatnot. They could always rescind it and let him walk in free agency. It just gives them a little bit more time to figure out what they're gonna do without anybody coming in and trying to steal them away and in free agency and really causing any more distractions in that process. But as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning into Fireside Giants. I really hope this video is a little bit informative for you and updating you guys on what needs to be informed and really just given so that you guys are up to date with the Giants content and news. And this is Leonard Williams, so this is a big one. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and make sure to hit the subscribe button below on YouTube, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.